You have tuned in to All Jacked Up. Do us a favor, hit subscribe and turn on your notifications.
What's up, everybody? Today in this episode of BMS All Jacked Up, I have the Matt Avery here with me. He is from Chicago. You are a
automotive author and historian, Brian.
I like to roll over to that because I got tongue-tied saying it. So maybe I'm just kind of excited. So we just met this morning, actually, right?
We did, yep. We had an awesome photo shoot today in Tennessee. That's what brought me to the area.
Okay. Tell everybody a little bit. You're writing a book about?
I'm writing a book about special edition Camaros. And so, like I said, that's what brought me to Tennessee, was actually tracking down the car behind us. It's a 2010 Transformers Edition Camaro. And it's funny, Brian, because I know it doesn't seem like that far long ago, but these are already becoming collectible. And so my book is detailing not only these, but all 6 generations of special edition Camaros. And after searching for quite a while, this actually ended up being one of the best examples and one of the best to photograph today.
Yeah, because this car here, it doesn't matter where you're at. Kids love it. Movie critics love it. So these cars have I guess 10 years now. So it's a little bit crazy to think like that.
Right, and you know, so like you said, the car behind us has a lot of connection with an audience because, like you said, it definitely is reaching into nostalgia because older enthusiasts appreciate the fact that it's a Camaro. But then you have younger enthusiasts like the owner, and actually another Camaro owner that we had out today, that really connect with that firsthand experience of being in the movie theater and seeing the movie that first time that Bumblebee transforms. So this type of car really does have a crossover with appeal.
Right, so I guess my question would be to you is, why Camaro?
Well, that's a good question. So currently where we're at is I'm coming down the home stretch of this project. We're about 2.5 years into the amount of work I've done for this book. I'll be completing it later this spring. So it is actually carrying over from my first book, which was called Copo, and that came out in September of 2018. And so, Brian, a lot of enthusiasts are probably aware, but Copo is kind of the pinnacle of Chevrolet performance during the 1960s. So a lot of people know Don Yanko. He was one of the main drivers of leveraging the central office production order to build cars that were kind of backdoor deals from a performance standpoint. So I spent 2 years on the research trail putting together that book. And when I got done with it, Brian, I realized that a lot of the people that I had connected with through my travels across the US and up into Canada for that particular project, a lot of them had just other neat Camaros parked right next to their L72 Yanko Camaro, or their 70.5 Copo Camaro. They had multiple Camaros, not just Copo. So I approached my publisher, CarTech, about it and said, hey, let's put together something kind of going even further into the Camaro story, and that's what kind of birthed Camaro Special Editions.
It's kind of cool because to think of it is, as a young man, I think of Hendersonville, Sumner County area. The 67, 68, 69 Camaro is, this area for us, probably one of the largest areas, I would say, in Tennessee or maybe the Southeast when it comes to that era of Camaros. Just right next door to us, like Maple Motors, I tell everybody, where else can you go shop for 5 or 6 different 67 to 69 Camaros and have them sitting on the lot? And where, Camaros like these, now the younger generation can afford stuff like this and start working on them and fixing them up, just like I call them my old cats. I have a lot of old cats that come in now that, they're doing forged wheels on big block Camaros and different things like that, which is kind of cool to me. So.
Yeah, the Camaro it really does have universal appeal. It wasn't the first pony car to the market. Ford charged out ahead in '64, but Camaro came out strong in '67, and just like Mustang, Camaro has developed such close ties with the motoring public, and also from a performance standpoint. It's funny because a lot of the special editions that I'm documenting and researching are actually from GM's internal RPO codes that have become so popular with enthusiasts because of what they stood for. So like Z28, for example, obviously Z28, when Chevrolet rolled that out in 1967, those first 602 cars, they were track-focused machines. But what's funny is that Z28 was never intended to blow up like it has today, where you say Z28 and you immediately think of something. But back then, it was just the way that they grouped the options together. But that's not the only one. one. You look at ZL1. That's another example in 69 where ZL1 was, again, it was the RPO code for the group of options. So it's just interesting that, like I said, Chevrolet has done such a great job. Z71 moving more into the truck stuff. That's another example. We have an RPO code that resonates with an audience, and it takes off and becomes its own brand.
Yeah, and what I think cool, listen to all that stuff for you is you learn all these codes, and here I am, I'm going, okay, all right, the Camaro's got a 275 40/20 rear tire, and the ZL1 has a 295 or 305, and I'm thinking wheel sizes and tire sizes, and what can I change with it? And of course, you know, most guys are like, all right, what kind of cam you going to put in it? What are you going to do with it? So it's just, it's cool to hear that side of it, because something that I don't study. I mean, you being a historian, that makes a big difference, and you knowing all that stuff.
Yeah, because I will say that when I look over my body of work, I really approach it as a journalist. And so what I mean by that, so even going back to this example behind us, Brian, is that I'm glad you didn't get your hands on it and modify it, not that but only for the purpose of my project, because what I am trying to do is I am trying to document these cars, whether it be something as early as 67 or as late as 2020, how they appeared when new. And so it's just interesting because, like I said, I can appreciate the custom car world. I love that. But for this project, I'm actually looking to document them as close to showroom correct as possible. And like I said, that's why this example behind us stood out, because after looking for so long, a lot of these late model cars are still on the roads being enjoyed. And I was talking with the owner today, but we're right on that cusp of extreme collectability taking off. But a lot of these are, like I said, are still on the roads being enjoyed, and a lot of the owners have made modifications. But for what I'm doing as a journalist and a researcher and a historian, I'm trying to get how they would have been in that showroom floor.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and this one just happened to be right up the street, Newton Motor Company, really good friends of ours. So, you know, spent some time with them today. And
it's kind of funny too, Brian, about this wasn't the only car we had on the photo shoot. We had one of your employees, Dave, who I had no idea. I met him on Christmas afternoon of this year for the first time. I called him, and he said, tell me when and where I'll be there. So much passion, and it's just so funny that he also has a 2010 Transformer Edition Camaro, as you know, and he has gone to great lengths to make that even more movie appropriate, but it was just so cool. And I will say that you mentioned about some of the passion and joy that you get from the world of cars and trucks. I get that too from coming out and doing this firsthand research, because, and even the way that we looped in Dave is that when I came across Newton and the Transformers behind us, we locked in the photo shoot. I made travel plans to come down here. I always try to think big. With my projects, probably like after seeing some of your trucks, I know you like to think big. You like to shoot for the moon, swing for the fence, every other analogy about just going all out. I do the same thing from my perspective as a researcher. I think, hey, how can I deliver to my reader a compelling experience? So I always try to think of, with photography, what can we do to be cool and have a neat background? So like I said, once we locked in this car, I started to think, what about some other cars? And so it's so interesting because I reached out to a movie car museum nearby because they had a 77, and I said, hey, you know, would you guys be able to participate? And they weren't able to, but they said, hey, there's a guy local. They said he might be able to help you out. So that's how I actually got Dave's number.
I didn't realize that.
And so I called him up, and so we're talking about the photo shoot. He goes, yeah, I'll be there. Tell me when and where. And again, this was on Christmas afternoon. Never talked to the guy. So much passion. I loved about him. And so it just is funny because we're talking about this photo shoot, and I said, yeah, can you meet us at Newton Motor Cars? And he goes, oh, okay. He goes, I know Newton. So just a small world, and he shows up, and it's just neat how you guys know each other.
He gave you a gift. What gift did he give you?
A custom license plate that I guess he has a friend do them. And I will say about his car, in particular Dave's car, I was really blown away, again, going back to his passion, because
the details.
The details. Dave is a detail guy, and when I didn't realize, one, he's an original owner, so he bought the car new. He had passion. He remembered where he was exactly when he saw the movie. Yeah. But then on top of that, his car is different, but it's different because he actually wanted to make it more screen accurate.
Right.
And so he was telling me about all the modifications he's done to replicate that. So like we were talking earlier about how there's a younger generation of Camaro enthusiasts coming along. I mean, I look at guys like Dave who has spent a lot of hours into modifying his car into his dream machine. And that tells me, a lot of people ask me, they say, hey, what's the future of car collecting look like? And I always say, we're good, because I see guys like Dave that it might be different from what we're used to, but that doesn't mean it's going away.
No, it's not going away, because you get that 5 or 6 year old little kid that just watched a Transformer movie, and he rolls up and sees a yellow Camaro, whether it be at the car show or at the Mexican restaurant, wherever he's at. And that kid, you see that kid light up. that is the next generation in cars.
Well, and the other popular 5th gen that I see is the Hot Wheels. Chevrolet has partnered with Mattel on 2 different editions to do those cars, and those are another life-size toy where, I mean, again, just from the colors, with it being blue and orange in the subsequent years, it's just those are another passionate group of owners that bought that car because of childhood memories.
Yep, pretty cool. So stay tuned. I will give you all of Matt's information. Facebook, we're working on him on Instagram, even TikTok. We'll talk about TikTok over dinner, how it's just blowing up. We're like kids over here. So everything else, I want to say thank you. First and foremost, this industry to me is a big blessing because I get to network. I just met you this morning, but I feel like now I'm like, okay, hey, I'll keep up with Matt. Where he's going? Where do you run? I don't read that many books, Matt, but you know what? I'm liable to have that book on my nightstand and just pick it up and read it. But I want to say thank you, appreciate it. New friendships always. I look forward to every single day, just a different life. Okay, so thank you. BMS All Jacked Up, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I don't give a crap what you do. Send it on. Okay. Thank you. We love you.